Ladies and Germans, how you all doing? This is Con Ulrich.
This is Ringru, hello, hello, hello.
And folks, want to bring you your dose over here of SD2. Today on Slutsk, where are we, sir? Well, who are we with, actually?
Well, left inside in the blue, we have Hypokrass playing the Herman Goering division with a balanced income. Right hand side in red, we have a Stardekk playing third guard tank core with a Maverick income.
So one thing I'm noticing right off the bat here is we're starting to finally see consistent, let's say, early anti-air being brought onto the field. I mean, we've seen an awful lot of recon planes early, awful lot of early, Mozzie kind of napalm or kind of early bomb strikes. I like players finally consistently bringing anti-air, even if it's just one piece. Something to be a little more terrifying in the opening kind of stages here, you know?
Yeah, I mean, time and time again, we've seen openers just get, knocked out by the 1-2 recon bomber combo. I mean, yeah, you do lose a little bit of frontline firepower, but sometimes you just have to hedge your bets. Looking at the initial opening deployment, we're seeing a decent push here from the center, from Hippo with a bunch of armored cars, but here comes that dreaded aircraft we were talking about.
Yeah, and the HDKFZ for some reason is down south. And go after the Martyr instead. Now, that actually might be... It's a good idea, and he gets, I think, lucky on the spread there. But that could have gone very, very wrong in terms of just getting stressed out. Maybe not a kill, per se. I mean, of course, the flying brick over there is what it is. But, yeah, I'm surprised by the positioning of that anti-air.
Yeah, I guess it's more just to cover the southern side, because, of course, the south side is the choke point.
And the IL-2 actually goes down, which is shocking as all get out to me.
Whoa. Wow.
Like, that was part of the script I did not expect to see even whatsoever. Second PE, I'm sorry, I thought it was another IL-2. I was like, man, he spends all this money as IL-2s. He's only got 3 airplanes. This is the second of 3.
Yeah, he is very limited in air power and artillery as well. But yeah, he's got the recon plane out to try to scout this little opener here, because the 2-3 run and 2-3-3 have managed to make some pretty decent headway up the hill. But there's not a whole lot of substance following up his push, so I wouldn't be surprised if the SU-85 and the anti-aircraft gun just finishing him off.
That's true. That's true. Now the SU-85 is in the line of sight. Oh no, he's looking to the north now, the 233. Takes that out pretty easily. But... Ooh, okay, let's see. HMG, Pack 40. The Herman Goering division to kind of break out here. The starting positions have been very, very, and I guess the term I used just a second ago was meager. I have to kind of use that term again here.
Yeah, I think just the difference of income is just forcing him to play a little bit more defensively. He really banked everything into trying to make that center push work, but didn't go all that well. But he can fall back on a very good infantry tab, especially in comparison to third guard tank corps. And yeah, just spam the Martyrs, machine guns, the Pack 40s, BF-109 being brought out. I think he's trying to use that for some anti-aircraft work.
Yeah. But the ZSU over here is probably going to take him down, if not the PE-2's kind of assistance here. No. Amateur turret. Nope. Amateur turret's not going to do squat. 12-7s.
Oh, the 37 mil was blapped. The Russian anti-air. That's right, he got the M15.
Well, wow. The 233 was sidling up over on that. So the 231 goes down. The 233 had eyes on it, was just shelling it as it was getting fired on in return. Down south, I wanted to make a quick call. I feel like we should be seeing some more infantry being placed over here to the south sooner rather than later by the Russians. I feel like this kind of guard squad over here, of course, the Russians are probably not going to get forced out very easily by those Germans. And I kind of get the feeling, just a little bit of a thought process here, that when you look at the third guards, they're kind of being passive, which is not how you really want to play them, save perhaps this one small push on the Machiki superior, on the Machiki Camerati.
Yeah, both sides are definitely just kind of feeling out their opponent, it feels like. But you're right, down south, both sides have either something a lot to gain or lose down south. For Stardekk, pushing up into the hill gives you good fire support into the town, or for Hypokrass, he really wants to probably, especially his more infantry-focused deck, recapture that flag, and then just hold down the hill to stop any more reinforcements being brought in. So quite interesting seeing actually pretty heavy play in the center. I mean, that 2-3 run is still causing havoc behind enemy lines. Actually providing some very nice fire support for the Panda Grenadier to just walk on up.
Well, the funny thing here, too, is that the Su-85 technically can get rear-shotted by him if he moves on forwards, which he might be doing. So orders get clicked off and clicked back on. I don't know if he's going to be shifting a little bit further. No, he's just...
And then the Emtra, like, right in the center is just full gun and fully anti-aircraft gun. Both sides making decent breakouts.
Yeah. Martyr, P4, 231. Okay, I'm trying to think about who's going to be able to save this anti-air piece, and I don't know that anything is going to be able to. Unless he can somehow get some, like, wonder shot by the Pac-40 moving back west. I don't see that happening.
No, and you also got to realize, Khan, that the Sherman does have stabilizers, so that 7 isn't getting anywhere.
You know what? You're right. You're absolutely right. But I kind of get the feeling here, too. Like, if I have 420 mils being blasted at my tank, I am just going to be stressed.
They're playing, like, musical chairs right now. It's like a match of War Thunder.
Oh, man.
Oh, that was pretty ghetto. 2-3 run coming in, trying to shut down his push, but I think the Sharks would pretty easily deal with him.
I'm sorry, I'm watching the 233 trying to take out the ISU-152, which is the one Soviet vehicle on the field he cannot kill.
No.
Oh,
but
man.
He did his time quite well, allowing the Panda Grenadiers to get into the farmstead and, well, allowing Hypokrass to, you know, mainly just keep it a nice trove. That's all he needs to do. He's a balance tech. If he can survive till sea phase, if he bleed, he'll be in a good position.
That's true. That's true. And these Russian troops over here in that little breakout you were talking about, the Emtra, it's getting squeezed. Like, man, this is like you're 16 years old, and there's that nice little zit right there that you know you need to pop. P4 is going to get lined up on. He's probably going to go down here with the next shot or two. And there we go.
We only have a P4.
Oh, no, Martyr jams the gun from way downtown. Very, very nice there. 231 in the meantime slides in. Nothing too crazy. So the Emtra's days are numbered. This is nothing too crazy.
Yeah, he's able to solidify our area. But Hypokrass is really starting to invest quite a bit in tanks now, and Armadas and Panzer IVs. I'm guessing it's more to send up a defensive line, because it's still pretty spread out. And same thing with Stardekk. He hasn't been all that aggressive either, and he really needs to be. Like, we need to start seeing some stuff happening down south, and I think it is starting to happen. As the Guard DPs and the very slow Valentine are starting to push on up.
That's true. That's true. But folks, it's June here, which means I don't think it's Valentine's Day. That's going to come on forward, and then it's going to probably get pushed back in the same old way. It's got one best in machine gun. Congratulations, my friend. You can fire 3,500 rounds off. The shooter gets killed by the Pac-40 down south. Oh boy.
That's a sneaky spot for a Pac-40. You usually don't see people putting heavy anti-tank guns down there, but coming in extremely clutch.
Which is actually, when you think about it, kind of curious that they don't do that, because this is one of the major attack paths for armored vehicles.
Oh, yeah.
You don't see them edgelording it too much, but there's kind of like a little patch of force here in that town. It does kind of separate the tanks from the boys, as one goes through the forest and one goes, you know, right down the hardtop road and gets killed. So, take a look back up north real quick. Herman Goering, Flammenwerfer goes down. Guard DP's moving on in, and the Panzer Grenadiers that are here don't have enough firepower to chase off this guard squad, but that P4 might be able to help out with that in just about 5 seconds.
Yeah, we got pretty decent just line of fires here from Hypokrass with the Armadas and the Panzer IV. I mean, the ISU-152 can be a bit of a hassle, but you can actually still blow it up with a Pac-40 style gun here. And Hypokrass, once again, needs to make something happen. I think he's going to try to probe down south, end up north, and probably see which area sticks the best, because he needs to start getting those flags.
Well, unfortunately, I think the answer to which one of this is going to work best is neither. I really, really do, because, fine, you take this ISU-152 and engage the P4, yes, you're going to see eyes on. Congratulations, that's wonderful. There's still martyrs there. The Pac-40 is currently dead, but the BF-109 comes right back in with any kind of rockets. And he's going for... I don't even know what he was going for, never mind.
Probably the ISU, I guess.
That might be the case. Martyr 1 in the meantime starts lining up on the SU-85. Might get another second shot off. Does he get the kill? Yes. Well done, sir.
Damn. Yeah, all Hypokrass has to do is just buy himself time. If he loses some Martyrs or Panzer IVs, not a big deal. I mean, Arrow to B phase, he can upgrade to Jagd Panzers and, well, eventually Tigers and C phase. And Jagd Panzers and this sort of defensive engagement are gonna be a pretty pain in the ass to deal with.
Well, he's got 2 already. So 1 down south, 1 up north. So he's massing them exactly where he needs to. I think the curious thing here is, where's the artillery? I want to see some artillery, at least if nothing else, establish some kind of, let's say, shielding positions. Yes, you're not going to be aggressive with it, but stick a mortar half-track down south. Heck, put a 105 in the back and have that support fire down south, because you know that's coming. You've seen them probe there once already. And I think we're seeing another slow push happening here. Emperor Komroti comes forward. Jagdpanzer constantly moves to intercept. And not for nothing, I give my money to... Okay, well... Apparently I don't give my money to anybody, because both people decide, hey, tomorrow's another day. Let's just back off for now.
Yeah. But anyway, a mortar half-track down south would be absolutely deadly here for Hypokrass, just considering how bunched up all his infantry is. I mean, fortunately, they're not even pushing, so he doesn't have to worry about putting much fire down here. And Stardekk, once again, he needs to, start enacting on a little bit of violence. He has a decent force here to at least start an attack in the south. Seems he's getting in a few more, a Valentine reinforcement that's going to probably reach the front line by the end of B phase here. But he needs to push.
Well,
it's going to be hard.
Here's something else that's kind of curious to watch. Jagdpanzer engages the ISU-152. The 152 has no more AP rounds. He's going to start to fire HE at the Jagdpanzer, which is phenomenal.
An issue?
Yeah, just a smidge. As he backs up, he finally goes down. If the Jagdpanzer pumps 5 or 6 rounds into him.
Oh, now he's upgrading to an IS-2, so hopefully that'll work out a little bit. And this is the 1944 model, so it's not really anything. Yeah, it doesn't have any Pak 43 guns, so he's gonna have a very hard time dealing with that IS-2. I'd say it's game changer, of course. I mean, it's a perfect territory for it, but there's all the other stuff which he needs to kill, and he still needs to have infantry in the front to actually capture the bloody things he's killing.
Yeah, that's one way to kind of focus on it. The other thing, too, is that the IS-2, congratulations, he's here, but, I mean, he's a single tank, and while he can get 2 more, all that really needs to happen is, you see, a Jagdpanzer getting from the side shot, or heck, you can stress the thing out. So, I mean, that's as good as a win, more than anything else. You just need to kind of delay the IS-2. They can only be in 3 places across the entire map, and he's not going to put 1 in each major theater. He's going to try to mass something. So.
No, Khan. You win wars by just building the biggest tank. It's just math.
I don't know, man.
Big tank.
I played Sniper Elite, and I destroyed the rat by, shooting it in the gas tank from 500 meters away. After I 360 no-scoped Hitler and the the old testes down there.
Yeah, I do love how in Sniper Elite, or really just even the old Grand Theft Auto, it's like, yeah, you can just blow up anything by shooting a gas tank.
Well, that's how it works, isn't it? I mean, you shoot the red barrels, they always blow up.
Yeah.
Right now, the second Komrati is down south. The other IS-2 is down south. P4 goes down to a capture Panzerschreck middle time. But down south, despite the fact that the Komrati is there, Martyr is also there, and I think he's willing to give his life for the cause. Unfortunately for him, he's also engaging the Emcha, as opposed to going after the bigger, scarier tank.
And the southern side is just such a deadly defensive for Hypokrass. I really like how he's built the south with all the machine guns, overlapping fires with tank destroyers and tanks. I mean, yes, the IS-2 is a very scary thing. It can run everything run, but there's a whole lot of targets he needs to blab. And, we've got J-87s and BF-109s being brought out, probably to try to deal with that IS-2.
Actually, they go after the SU-85 and get chased away. Was there a Z? Yeah, there's a ZSU down south. And he's trying to draw fire over here with the BF-109. Ju-87 goes in, makes a run, gets the SU-85. That's a more than fair trade in my mind.
Yeah, that's definitely rough row here. And Stardekk, he doesn't really have a whole lot backing up his push. he still has a whole lot of infantry, but even if all his infantry was to push down south, not a whole lot of Panzer Grenadiers and enemy infantry to stop him, but all the armoured vehicles will prove to be a bit of a pain.
Now, one Ju-87 does go down. Technically, there's 3 more. We see actually 1 more on the field already. But, next thing, and this is another reason to bring in the artillery, engage the anti-air. You know, often I'm that guy that's complaining about the fact that someone's going and spending so much time on that anti-air. You have 2 things to worry about. Both of them are called IS-2s. And even the ISU-152 isn't that scary at the end of the day. You might lose a couple vehicles, but nothing too crazy. The ISUs, though, that's at least, excuse me, the IS-2s, wow. That's kind of like the psychological issue. Like, I don't know if you've been watching when players kind of go through this. I see the IS-2 and I think, I can't pen that. Okay, I give up in this area. It's not the matter of delay. It's surrender.
The key to solving the IS-2 puzzle is by blowing them up with aircraft.
You know what?
It's no tactic, but it works.
It's a much pithier way of saying anything than what I just did, which is totally fine. Northern side, though, 2 guard squads are going to take over this town. HMG is completely pinned. And the Ju-87 can no longer see. So it's time for him, I think, to go back.
This is great. This is what you need to do. Speed, violence, momentum, taking some flags, kicking ass. And he's even got the hill just a little bit south as well. If you can start placing some armed vehicles up here, put down fire support, this entire northern area will collapse.
Yeah, it's really strange to see, because I feel like the Herman Goering division had a great defense. I mean, it's 3 minutes to go, and then things get really, really bad, though, for Hypokrass. Excuse me, for Stardekk, rather.
So at least Stardekk can put himself, if he can lock down the northern side at a good position into sea phase, he really sort of bled a little bit more out of Hypokrass here. But usually the far northern side is Rashikhan, you know, once you just lock it down, it's this big open field, pretty easy to hold.
Down south, though, we're actually seeing it's not the Soviets making a push. It was that P4 backed up by some infantry. P4 is now dead. And more of this German armor gets frittered away in kind of this, if I can be blunt, very meager assault.
Yeah, it seems it's more like a scouting operation, I guess. He was like, hey, they haven't attacked me here yet. Let's see what's here. Oh, it's a massive Soviet, corps. And now he's going to quite wisely run away, because that is a little bit too much firepower.
Yes, indeed. But now the IS-2 is backing. Is the Martyr trying? The Martyr's trying to push, and this is infantry that can take him out very, very easily, even without anti-tank weapons. This is a problem.
You just have to play basketball with the crew compartment,
which is another World War II fighting game. I'm sure. I actually think it was maybe a Brothers in Arms.
Yeah, Brothers in Arms. You run up to the tank, you press the button, and it has a little quick time thing.
Man, so I really legitimately thought that Stardekk was kind of ready to surrender here. Doesn't look like that's going to be the case, though. Looks like he's ready to go. He's still taking territory. I'm not going to say he's necessarily kicking ass. Certainly not taking names, but he's taking ground. That's the important part.
Yeah, he's playing out a late-game Maverick, it seems, as he's really starting to get into his element just before he runs out of all that income. So I'll be curious to see how he does hold onto his lead going into sea phase. I mean, usually after 10 minutes or so, the income difference really starts to be felt. But he has good geographical advantage up north here. That T-34 is actually kicking his ass a little bit.
Well, because the IS-2 went down by a Ju-87 strike, so, you know, your prescience, sir, knows no bounds. You really need to kind of go and make yourself a fortune teller.
Yeah, that's... It does kind of suck losing the IS-2. Doesn't get a whole lot of him, and he really would need to rely on it to just lock down the northern side. Yes, you can do the ISUs, but the ISUs are a little bit more malleable to 75mm shot.
You know, I thought you were going to make a very, very different comment there. I was like, I thought you were going to tell me you actually were a part-time Canadian psychic, and I was like, eh? And unfortunately, that was just not to be. I will say, down south, the scouting probe has turned into a rising tide as the reds are moving through the trees and not the blues. And at 222, I don't care how plucky that little guy might be. I don't think he's going to be able to force things back by himself, although he is taking one infantry squad at a time.
Yeah, it's holding the line just enough, it seems, but Stardekk still isn't all that motivated to make the final southern push happen here. Even though he does have the forces, he probably could do a decent counterattack. We are seeing, finally, our favourite unit, the Stardekk, being brought now, and he is bringing it in down south, so it's going to be really hard now for Stardekk to make any sort of push yet.
That is very, very true. Very, very true. In the meantime, though, Hypokrass continues to bleed. I'm not going to say it's, he's bleeding out per se. He is slowly taking back the occasional flag. And I think he's having the more important munitions over here from the Soviet ground forces being used on very, very light vehicles. I think it's very much one of those things where he's like, okay, that's fine. You can do as much shooting as you want to. I am just going to go and waste your time on doing everything else. And actually, T-34 going muzzle to muzzle around the ISU and waiting for the stars to align before he actually fires. And by the time he does so, that's going to be a dead T-34.
Oh, this is ghetto. Wow. Oh no, what got him? He ruined that duel.
ISU 152, IS2, the third and final IS2 is on the field.
Oh, a shame.
Yes,
I wanted to see him like rear shine.
So did I. I was like, shameful display. Sit your turret to the rear and then just start driving backwards, man. Sturmtiger, though, my eyes will be on that consistently. No, he's going to try to aim that at the ISU 152. Sure, bud.
Yeah.
All right.
Unfortunately, it's not real life where that tank would be utterly annihilated from that sheriff and hidden somewhere nearby. Because high explosive in Steel Division against tanks is very weird. Yeah, that's for balance reasons. I know comment section, please chill.
Exactly. One of the main reasons we get the Flak 88s are such, not quite as absurdly powerful as they should be otherwise, yeah. But we might see a Shremtika yet. He's going to attack ground. He's attacking ground behind him, so this is going to be fun. And we're also seeing the Tiger is on the field. Tiger is engaged in the ISU 152, and of course, because the ISU 152 has to make its own shells, the Tiger gets off 2 or 3 shots at every one of the other ones.
It's got a little Soviet-like production factory, the proletariat in there, putting it all together. They got propaganda poster on the side.
Only you can kill the fascist, comrade. Yeah, I mean, like, yeah, it's some random oblast peasant just like, come on, let's do this. Oh, boy.
Carve the shell out of a hammer and sickle.
Yes.
That's how they make it, right? That's what they use hammer and sickles for.
That's true. Then they make gun cotton out of some poor conscript. Sturmtiger goes down. ISU cakes it out with one shot as the Sturmtiger's round fires, lands next to the ISU 152, and doesn't do anything more than half stress.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
He's going to get another Sturmtiger to replace it, but Stardekk is actually getting a pretty decent heavy armored force now. He's kind of buying out the rest of his tanks down south. He's got good heavy armor up north. And if he can just get these effective trades, and he should be decent enough to survive. Because, okay, it's actually quite a lot of Tigers, but Tigers on an open field don't do great against IS-2s.
True, but we still have at least 2 Ju-87s. Down south, that's actually kind of funny. There were a couple of T-34s. One is still alive, the Boyce T-34s. Ooh, doesn't get his rounds off. But the T-34s were charging on in and just basically being surrounded by Soviet infantry. Yeah. Swarming, throwing PTRD rounds, throwing anti-tank grenades. But I do think this southern island is going to go blue.
Yeah, he's just traded well enough. The T-34s did a job before they got returned to sender. And if he can just get the Panther Grenadiers on that hill, it's going to be very easy for him to lock down the rest of his southern side.
That's true. It is 15 now in the meantime. Taking a look back, actually, at the decks themselves, this is not as much infantry as we're used to seeing.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to wrap my head around the kind of usage that's been here so far. Tons of Automochikis over here, of course, for the Soviets, which, when all is said and done, I actually don't know if I value quite as much. I mean, he is up 15-9, but I think that's because of the momentum he's built thus far, as opposed to, ooh, Tiger goes down IS-2. But I don't know. I feel like if it was just straight infantry on infantry, this would be a very, very different game here.
Yeah, it's is definitely coming more to the tank battles. Slutsk is a little bit more of an open map here, and it's working well here for Stardekk. This ISU IS2 combo when not getting blapped from Hans Ruder on the sky are doing pretty decent. And yeah, Stardekk's got lovely 16-8. It's just up north, once you break through, it's such a flag-rich environment here. And even if he does end up losing the southern side completely, not a huge loss, because from like the north and center, you can still put pressure down south and get a flag or two.
Well, the funny thing here is that there's also an MCHA and 3 Valentines being brought into the south. So this is the balance of the Valentine's tanks, and over here the third tank. Now, what does that mean for us? Absolutely nothing. However, it does mean that the other Storm Tiger is also on the front lines, and the ISUs are already engaging him. And despite the fact that he got fired on 5 seconds before, here we go. It's up, and there we go. That's what should be happening.
Direct hit. Yeeted out of existence, you could say.
Exactly. There's a bit of storm, there's a little bit of rain, and thus was violence achieved. JU-87 coming in, shooting some Valentines over here in the flank. They kind of hardly seem sporting. But, you know.
Not a whole lot of anti had to stop him anymore either, so he's able to come around. Oh, S-35 getting blapped down south as well. So that's the Hypokrass' best bet is probably just try to play aggressive down south. As we can see with our God Vision, not a whole lot of defenses here. A lot of the tanks have been blapped. There's not a whole lot of infantry left on the front line. It'd just be about whether Hypokrass can, sense this weakness and try to exploit it, because all of the Gucci stuff is up north, and that's Stardekk's not even content with holding up north. He wants more.
I think that's going to be an overstretch, though, and a critical one at that.
Yeah. I mean, it's only a few infantry units he's eaten out yet, but still not going to be worthwhile.
No. Of course, we said it is 15-9. Tiger's going to start to engage his infantry in the open field, which is going to go very, very poorly for them. P4 is going to engage the guards to the north, blow them up, and those guard squads, I imagine, is going to go down sooner rather than later. We're starting to see a bit of a counterpunch down south. A couple of squads of Pioneers, P4. I'm not saying it's all coming up Millhouse, but I will say Hypokrass does have more than the 7 minutes and 23 seconds suggest.
Yeah, he does have an opportunity here, especially considering up against Maverick. If you can just get a few good effective trades and slow down that bleed for just a little bit, then the income comes in Millhouse and helps out. Or Sturmtiger firing, doesn't get any kills, just kind of shooting for the trees and trying to do a lot of ecological damage.
You're saying it's treason then? Gotcha.
Have we never even come up?
I have no idea. I have no idea.
5 years. I'm writing that down in the book. That's a good hiking joke.
Yes, it is. That's definitely. Yes, folks. Since the little conling has come onto the scene, my dad jokes have increased my.
They've evolved.
Oh, I'm twice as powerful. SG-43 going to engage that one, plucky little pioneer who's behind the front lines, and I have no idea what he expects to be doing back there, out in the open, all on his own.
Probably getting killed.
Or surrender, at least, one or the other.
Yeah. Not going to be a pleasant time.
But the North isn't going to remember a whole lot of what goes on here, because the IS-2 killed that last Tiger, and I think, yep, Hypokrass is now just kind of putting in what is more or less his last major throw down south. By throw, I don't mean to suggest that it's going to be all over for him, but he's got 4 squads infantry and 2 Boita tanks, and yeah, he's a very, very, very hopeful thrust of those orders.
Oh yeah, he's he's trying to recreate 1940, but no, you're right. Northern side is just a lost cause here for Hippo. There's no point trying to, take it. Yeah, just getting the Pioneer to capture that one flag is all he can really do at this point. Well, he just needs to make the magic happen down south, and he does have this opportunity. It's just, will he be able to exploit it?
Well, the irony of this is, actually, we're going to be also seeing this T-34 get rushed by Tanko de San Niki. But the irony of this is, if he does push the southern half of the map, the IS-2s can't rotate in time to actually be effective.
Yeah. It's just very, like, the southern area of the map is not as great geographically for them either, as there's a little bit more. It's not super claustrophobic, but there's more chance of you getting blapped from some PaK-40 style gun from the side, and that's not ideal considering just the open field that he has up north. Oh, Subseeker. I love it when it just blaps you in it, one hit, one kill.
But I mean, that's kind of what should be happening.
Yeah.
IL-2 does not get the rounds off over on the T-34, which is fine because the MTRA with the stabilizers does. And yeah, this is the last major throw. If this does not go well, I'm sure we can probably expect to see Hypokrass tap. Yeah, I'm still loving the fact that he's like, yeah, we're totally gonna go and get troops out over here to unload.
Mm-hmm. We're gonna drive back to Moscow, guys.
Exactly. Napoleon did it. We can do it too.
I overextended a little bit. I'd recommend unloading at least 1 or 2 troops just for defense, but he is carrying full hog down the road.
Yeah, he's going. How do the kids say these days? Ball to the wall.
Mm-hmm. He's going the distance.
Yeah, he is going for speed. Unfortunately, foot sloggers don't have a lot of speed in them legs.
No. It's not going to take us some casualties here. But I'm kind of annoyed he just kind of did his deep penetration and not actually secure his supply lines. Like, even just grinding out a little bit in the town to fully clear it. I understand he's just trying to get those important flags, but he's not going to hold him for long with this attrition rate.
You're right. There should be more than just deep penetration.
Mm-hmm.
That's all I heard. And MTRA's coming on in. That's going to go. And, well, if that T-34 is not dead because of all the other extra stuff that's engaging, it's going to be dead from that. I love how these Panzer Grenadiers are like, oh, yes, we have Panzerfausts. Maybe we should get undercover.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, being in the middle of a road and a war zone is not ideal, to say the least.
Yes, that is true. It was very, very true. And very often we should be saying as little as possible about some of the prognosis for these guys.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think that's pretty much going to be it for Hypokrass here. That push did not go as well as expected. And if a 2-minute bleed out time, that's not ideal at all.
It's not ideal, but we also have like this MTRA like in this back flag that's like, you know what, I can't go any further. I'm going to wait for the infantry support. What a novel idea.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I'm thinking you want to take this 2 times 2 over here, call it at 1630.
1630 is good.
All right.
And times 2.
All right, folks. So as this continues to tick down over here, legitimately thought Hypokrass had this by at least weathering the storm for a good chunk of time. But the last 4 minutes of B, I think, really sealed the deal in the other direction.
Yeah, Stardekk did a very good job picking the northern side as his main angle of attack. It really was the best advantage to his division, and he just treated so effectively up there. Yeah, even with a poor, no, this wasn't even a poor defense, but a limited defense down south, he just bided himself enough time. And we about to see it sometimes with Maverick players, right? It may not be till the end of B phase, finally starting getting that lovely +2 and that lovely breakthrough. But even against balance income, you can make it work just as long as your stuff doesn't die.
That's always the thing, isn't it? Just as long as. It's always the, the proviso. Mm-hmm. It's always the assumption. Hopefully that's not the case. But in any case, it is going to be a victory over here for Stardekk. Well done, sir. And a 1,500-point swing. So a little bit more than the 1,000 points we're usually used to seeing. Going to expect to see that a lot of that over here is because most all armored vehicles were dead over here for Herman Goering.
Yeah, they all got big blaps. They should probably stick to, just making airplanes.
Probably. And yes, the IS-2 worth its weight in stuff limit. Wow, sir. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 true kills, and I'm counting the 233 in that. A number of other kind of lesser known kills, but still plucky nonetheless. Let's see. Yeah, really well done.
Losses, wow, the 233, the 2-3 run, doing decent. Those are the guys off the start. Another 2-3 run. Really, the 2-3 runs are the king of the game here for Hypokrass.
But that's the thing about the Herman Goering division. I mean, you can make a very, very viable light vehicle rush. You just actually have to throw some infantry behind to support them. I just don't think he was able to do that here.
Yeah, especially in the start and push in the center. You kind of saw at the start and the end of Hippo. He had pretty good trade. He made good territorial gains, but he didn't solidify any of his breakthroughs.
Exactly. But well done to Stardekk. Better luck next time to Hypokrass. And any final thoughts there, sir?
No.
Well, folks, in that case, then that's going to do it for us. Until next time, I'm Conalwork.
I'm Rangru. Take it easy.